Hello Evony, welcome to my second video. This video, I thought it might be a good idea to make it all about generals. Generals are such an important component of your Evony success, and it's something that I've kind of struggled with over time, and I just had to do trial and error and figure out tips and tricks kind of on my own research. And so I thought I might condense what I've learned for you guys in this video, or mostly what I've learned. I'm not going to do in-depth stuff on generals in this video, like cultivating and the skill books and things like that. I think those are subjects that are big enough to be in a separate video. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to give you a rundown of my generals and what I use them for, and finally how I got them. And so right now I'm almost at max generals. I probably, it's probably a good idea for me to trim a few generals back and everything, but I just haven't had the time to do that with everything that's going on. But here is a list of my most important generals that I use a lot. My main general that I have is Hannibal, because I am not a PvP guy. I'm a boss monster guy, and so I know almost nothing about PvP, and to be honest with you, I hate PvP. I hate it. I suck at it, and I don't like doing it. I don't like doing Battlefield. The only reason that I do Battlefield is because my alliance members want to do it, and because of the Battlefield rewards. But trust me, I get no pleasure out of Battlefield at all. And so that's why I've put most of my resources and energy into my monster generals. Hannibal is primary among those, and so this is what I've done with my Hannibal. I have added on a mounted troop attack, march size, and mounted troop attack against monster. And as you can see, I have him. I have one star on the skill book, and I've been able to ascend him just a little bit. A note on my generals that I forgot to mention is I am a free player. I don't spend any money in Evony whatsoever. I've never given Evony a dime. That's not to say that I never will, but I haven't yet. And so all of the generals that you see, I have gotten absolutely free so far. And so I'm not going to say that I will never give Evony any money, but it's kind of looking like it's not going to happen. My two defense wall generals, I chose George Dewey and Yi Sun Sin, because Dewey gives a buff on range and siege, and Sun gives a buff on ground and mounted. And so I kind of balanced it out between those two. The rest of the generals that I will occasionally use, Roland is another good monster general. Martinius, I'm grooming him and getting him into shape. I don't think I even have any armor on Martinez. No, I don't yet. I'm still bringing him up and bringing him along and grooming him. But yeah, Belisarius is really good for gathering. But yeah, all of these generals I've gotten for free, and I will show you how I got my main generals that I use. And also I will give you a tour of what duty officers I'm using which generals for, and why in this video. And so that's a general tour of my generals that I have. Again, all for free. These are I didn't pay for any of these generals. And as you can see, most of them I don't really use very much. Pompey I just got today. I'll show you how I got him. So my duty generals that I have, there are certain generals that provide buffs when they are in a certain role. For example, Menshikov provides a construction buff when he is the keep officer. And so what I've done is a little insight into my personality. I made myself a spreadsheet of which generals provide buffs when they're in certain roles. And so on the military side, John the First provides a buff when he is the archer camp officer, and also Ramen Noodles when he is the barracks officer. As far as the workshop goes, I haven't leveled up my workshop enough to have it to a level to allow a duty officer. You can see that it's still locked, but when I do, Guan Royul, Ryul, will be my workshop duty officer. The stables, Oleg of Novgorod, I already have him, got him from the tavern. And then the rally spot is Toyotomi Hideyoshi, provides a buff on the rally spot. As far as defense goes, Ban Chao was, unless I'm mistaken, my very first duty officer after my main defense general. I believe right now, well, shoot, I can't remember what her name is. Let's go and check that real quick, because it doesn't show in the duty officers there. My main defense general is, there you go, Shajar. She provides a resource production boost when she is the main defense general. The wall gen is what the veteran players call that position. And so I keep her as my wall gen during most of the time when I'm not in battlefield. And then when I go into battlefield, I'll switch it over to George Dewey and Yi Sun Sin for their defense buffs. But yeah, I always keep Shajar on there any other times. To continue with the duty officers, in defense, I was talking about Ban Chao. Li Jing, let's see, as far as defense goes, I don't think Li Jing is one of the ones that provides a buff when he's the duty officer. As far as the hospital goes, I believe it's Skanderbeg that produces that gives the buff when he's the hospital officer, but I do not have that general. The trap factory, I have Eskia, and he does provide a buff when he's the trap factory officer. The warehouse does not really have anybody that provides a duty buff, and so I just have Guan set as the warehouse because I just had him laying around and I didn't have anybody better. The embassy, the holy place, and the bunker don't really have generals that provide buffs when they're in that role, and so for those three, you can just put anybody in there. I mentioned Menshikov a little while ago as the keep officer. The academy, Iluji, provides a duty buff, and the market, again, the market is one of those that doesn't really provide that doesn't really have a general that provides a buff there, and so I just put Kiet in there just because, again, I had him laid around. I think I used Kiet as a wall gen at one time, and then I got George Dewey and Son, and so I replaced them with Kiet. The Forge, the Research Factory, and the Military Academy, again, are three more that don't really have generals that can provide a buff there. And so someday when I get those unlocked and everything, then I'll just throw somebody in there that I have laying around that would be good in that role. Now, as far as how to get gens, so probably the second best way to get gens is through the daily general fragment. This month, I think, is Sherman, which I don't think really has a really strong use anywhere. Thanks a bunch, Evony, for that. But yeah, you can get at least one general per month from the fragments. You can see I've already claimed my fragment for today here. But you get to this, just in case you guys didn't know, you get to this by clicking on by tapping on your gems in the upper right corner of your screen, right below your gold, and that will lead you into the store. And you can see the little claimed box is just to the left of my gems in the top center of the screen. You can get one fragment every day, up to 30 fragments, and then you can compose your general. So you can get one general a month, except for February, which only has 28 days. And so you'll come up 2 fragments short on that in February, unfortunately. Other ways to get general fragments are through the Great General Chest, which mine is still cooling down right now, but this is another great source of general fragments. And again, the fragments that you get in here, you need 30 to compose that general. Another great way is to go into relics, and I can't do it right now because I don't have enough slate fragments. But you can go into the relic chamber and pull really a lot of general fragments out of there. But my most productive way that I have found to get generals is through the recruiting in the tavern. So when I was a younger player, what I used to do is I would go into the tavern every 4 hours when it did the reset and see if there were any good generals that popped up. And so it never worked for me. And so probably for the first year or so that I was playing this game, I had crappy generals and I struggled to get new generals for the keep. And so a few months ago, what I figured out to do is to hit the refresh button. Now, to do this, you're going to need some gems. To get a historic gold general, you're probably going to need in the neighborhood of about 4,000 or 5,000 gems. But the cost is really worth it. And so I'll do the 2 checkboxes there. And for me, I will have a purple or a gold historic general pop up for me about every 15 or 20 times I refresh it. Now, I don't know if you noticed or not, but my tavern is a 32. And so if your tavern is not a 32, I can't guarantee that your results will be the same as mine, but that's what it usually is for me. And so when I hit this refresh button, I'll go through. Very first time I refreshed, Frederick the Great, there he is. I think I've looked at this kid before. I don't think that he has really anything that I need. Increases ranged troop HP. No, that's a horrible buff. Because again, I'm not a PvP guy, so I personally could not care less about ranged troop HP. So naturally, I don't need Frederick the Great. But if I keep going, then like I was saying, oh, there's another historic general. Usually within 15 or 20 tries, I'll get usually somebody good. Hopefully, because I'm making the video right now, hopefully somebody good will pop up and I can give you guys a good example of it. There's a gold general that I don't need. I would love for Jindiok to pop up in here. That is somebody that, I've never seen in the tavern before. Joan of Arc. I've never had the opportunity to buy a Jindiok, so I don't have those. I use Constance and other purple generals for gathering. But yeah, I would love to see a Jindiok pop up in here. I've been rambling, just so there isn't any dead air, and so I haven't been counting how many times I've refreshed, but yeah, it is definitely a good investment to refresh if you have the extra gems. You are going to find that you know gold historic generals are going to, oh, there's Ham, are going to pop up on a regular basis in the tavern if you refresh. And of course, the more time. Oh, Jefferson! I have to make a note about Jefferson. I have two of him because Jefferson provides a construction speed for the subs. Now, you will find that you'll have some players that will question why you need construction speed on a sub, because the sub level really doesn't affect their gold output or troop training speed. But for me, why I have Jefferson is because I have him. Let me show you real quick. I have him on my default sub. I'll gather these materials real quick. On my default sub, because the default sub, once it gets to a certain level, you will get fame points. And so that is why construction speed is important to me on my default sub. It doesn't really matter very much on the rest of the subs, like I was saying, because it doesn't affect the gold output or troop training or anything good like that or material production speed. But for me, it does matter on the default sub. And that's pretty much my general video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you learned something or if this video helped you out, please give me a like and a subscribe. And of course, as always, you guys can reach out to me with any questions or any concerns or anything you need. I'm happy to help out as best I can. I'm one of those Evony players that it brings me joy to see other players excel and grow and do well. And so that's primarily the reason I'm doing these videos, is because I want to help you guys do well in the game. It gives me pleasure. And so to that end, like I was saying, reach out to me with any questions or any comments. Until next time, Evony, I hope you guys have a very great day.